Have you ever been in a glass house? Not a greenhouse, a glass house. You know, the glass house where you can't scratch your nose, you can't yell at your kids, you can't even leave a sock on the floor without the entire neighborhood taking notes. We all know the saying, pastors live in a glass house. We've said it 1,000 times and we chuckle about it. We laugh about it. We use it to excuse the why the pastor's kids look so stressed, or why the pastor's spouse always has that frozen smile plastered on her face in the foyer. We treat the glass house like it's just a part of the job description, like a dental plan or a reserved parking spot. It's just the price of admission for ministry, right? But have you ever realized that when you actually try to live in a glass house, things get ugly fast? So here's the thing we don't talk about. Glass doesn't just let people see in, but glass breaks. And when it breaks, it cuts. See, the glass house isn't a quirky architectural feature of ministry. It's a pressure cooker. And right now, the data tells us that the pressure cooker is exploding. We aren't just looking at pastors who are tired. We're looking at a vocational crisis where the traditional social contract of the pastorate is dismantling. Pastors are lonely. 65% of them feel isolated. Their families are often doing even worse. The first family is drowning in expectations, drowning in financial stress, and drowning in the inability to ever turn off. Let me paint you a picture. Let's call him Pastor Tim. Pastor Tim is a good guy, okay? He loves God, he loves people. But Pastor Tim has a problem. It's Tuesday night. He's supposed to be having a family dinner, but then his phone rings. It's Deacon Bob. Okay, Bob isn't dying. Bob is just once again disagreeing about the color of the carpet. So Tim takes the call. Why? Because Tim is the omnicompetent leader. If he doesn't take the call, then he's considered not committed. Meanwhile, Tim's wife, Sarah, is at the grocery store. She's exhausted. She buys a bottle of wine because, frankly, it's been a week. She runs into a church member in the checkout line, and the member looks at the wine and looks at Sarah and gives that look like, you know, is that really appropriate for the first lady? Sarah goes home and she hides the bottle. She feels shame for even buying it with the groceries. Then there's Tim's son, little Timmy. Timmy is 14. He wants to be a normal kid. But last Sunday, Pastor Tim used the story about Timmy and how Timmy struggles with math class, and he uses it in his sermon illustration. Now, we all struggle with numbers, just like Timmy. So the congregation laughs, but Timmy doesn't. Timmy wants to crawl under a pew. So fast forward 2 years, Pastor Tim, burns out because he never took a sabbatical. He thought it was a vacation. Sarah is depressed, but she won't see a therapist because the church treasurer won't see the bill. And Timmy hates the church because the church stole his dad and invaded his privacy. We look at that and we say, man, ministry is hard. No, that was not ministry. That was malpractice. Okay? The problem wasn't the carpet, the wine, or the math grade. The problem was that Tim's church didn't have a first family care policy. Here is the shift you need to make. A pastor is not just an employee. He's a high-performance emotional athlete. Research shows that the emotional toll of clergy work is closer to that of a clinical therapist than a corporate manager. You wouldn't send a linebacker onto the field without a helmet. So why do we send the pastors into spiritual warfare without a contract that protects their blind side? Okay? We need to move from permission to policy. Okay? If you wait until the pastor is broken to offer him a break, it's too late. That's an ad hoc favor. It's a weakness. It's like a weakness. But if you write it into the bylaws now, it becomes wisdom. We have to recognize that the great man myth, the idea that one guy can do it all alone, is dead. We need systematic interventions. We need to treat the pastor's mental health not as a luxury, but as an asset that we have to protect. So think about it this way. You ensure the church's building against fire, right? Why wouldn't you ensure the church leader against burnout? Mm-hmm. All right. So how do we fix this? How do we stop the glass house from shattering? I've done the research, and it comes down to adopting a first family care policy. And this isn't a handshake, it's a document. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and this is not legal advice. I'm a writer synthesizing you the best practices, okay? So always have your local HR or legal counsel review your bylaws before signing. So here are the 4 pillars that every first family care policy needs to have based on the evidence. Number 1, the privacy protocol. You need a policy that explicitly states that the pastor's spouse and children are not employees. The pastor cannot use his family also as a sermon illustration without their permission. The family gets veto power, okay? This lowers the fishbowl pressure and lets the kids be kids. Number 2, the counseling sinking fund. Most pastors, they won't seek help because they can't afford it. So the rule is simple. The church budgets a stipend specifically for third-party confidential counseling. You pay the provider directly or use a reimbursement model where the board does not know who the pastor is seeing and why and when. Number 3, the mandatory sabbatical rhythm. Vacation is for family, but sabbatical is for the soul. Okay, they are not the same thing. Every 3 to 5 to 7 years, the pastor gets 3 months off paid. So create a sinking fund. If pastoral relief costs you about $2,000 a month and you need one for 3 months, that means every 3 to 5 to 7 years, you only need to save about $100 a month starting today, okay? Number 4, the emergency only boundary. Okay, pastors live in a state of hyper arousal because the phone could ring at any second. Okay, so the rule, 1 full 24-hour period where the pastor is unreachable. Could be Monday, could be Tuesday, could be Wednesday, could be Thursday, whatever day. 1 24-hour period. Okay, a designated lay leader carries the emergency phone. They screen the calls. They only patch through actual emergencies, death, hospital, police. This allows the pastor's nervous system to actually reset. Look, the number one reason churches fail is leadership collapse. Okay, protecting your pastor isn't just about being nice. It's about protecting the church's investment. It's about ensuring that you don't have to spend 2 to 3 times the pastor's salary searching for a new one every 2 years because the last one got burned out. If you want a healthy church, you need a healthy first family. Now, you could go and try to write this policy yourself. You could spend hours researching labor laws and debating the wording, or I've already done it for you. You're welcome. I have created a first family care policy template. Okay, it's clean, it's vetted, It covers the privacy protocol, the counseling stipend, the sabbatical sinking fund, and the emergency boundaries. It's designed to be copied, customized, and pasted right into your handbook, and it's only $5, okay? And that's less than the cost of that bottle of wine that Sarah was about to buy. Now, click below and download the template. Take it to your board meeting next week and be the person who didn't just point at the glass house, but the one who installed the safety glass. Let's help the first family flourish, not just thrive.